First contact the edge of Terran space was supposed to be quiet. Captain Aaron Holt had been patrolling the outer rim for 3 years, and in all that time the most exciting thing he'd encountered was a rogue mining drone that had drifted off course. Tassa. The Vigilant, a mid-sized frigate with more rust than glory, wasn't built for heroics, it was built for presence. A flag in the dark, a reminder that humanity had spread this far and intended to stay. So when the sensors screamed at 400 hours, Aaron thought it was a malfunction. "Captain, you need to see this." Lieutenant Chen's voice crackled through the calm, sharp with something Aaron hadn't heard in years. Fear. He was on the bridge in under a minute, still fastening his jacket. The view screen dominated the front wall, and what he saw there made him stop mid-step. A ship. No, calling it a ship was like calling a star a candle. It hung in the black, silent and massive, easily 10 times the size of the Vigilant. Its hull was dark, almost organic-looking, with sweeping curves that defied human engineering sensibilities. Sections of it glowed faintly, bioluminescent patterns that pulsed like a slow heartbeat. But what made Aaron's chest tighten wasn't its size or its strangeness, it's the damage. Entire sections were torn open, venting atmosphere and frozen clouds. Scorched metal, if it was metal, twisted outward from impact craters. Small fires flickered in exposed compartments, snuffed out one by the vacuum. The ship was dying. "How long has it been here?" Aaron asked, his voice steady despite the hammering in his chest. "Unknown, sir." "It just appeared on our scanners. No warp signature, no engine trail. It's like it materialized." Aaron moved closer to the screen, eyes narrowing. "Any response to our hails?" "None, but sir," Chen hesitated. "There's movement inside the ship." The tactical display flickered, zooming in on one of the breaches. Through the jagged opening, Aaron could see them, small figures, humanoid but wrong. They moved in jerky, desperate motions, welding plates over ruptures, dragging debris out of corridors. Even from this distance, even through the grainy magnification, Aaron could see the panic in their movements. They were trying to save their ship. Life signs?" he asked. "Hundreds," Chen replied. "Maybe thousands. They're fading, sir. Hull integrity is at 30% and dropping." Aaron's mind raced. First contact protocols were clear. Maintain distance, observe, report to high command, wait for orders. Do not engage. Do not approach. Do not interfere. But those protocols assumed time. They assumed the aliens would still be alive when the diplomats arrived. "Sir, I'm picking up new contacts." The sensor officer's voice cut through his thoughts. Multiple ships approaching fast. There. The view screen erupted with light. 3 sleek vessels dropped out of FTL space like knives cutting through silk. They were smaller than the damaged warship, but still dwarfed the Vigilant, angular, aggressive, built for killing. Their hulls were gunmetal gray, bristling with weapon emplacements that glowed with gathering energy. "They're targeting the damaged ship." "Impure," Chen shouted. Aaron watched frozen as the lead attacker fired. A lance of crimson light speared through space and punched into the wounded vessel's flank. The impact sent a shudder through the massive hull. More atmosphere vented, more fires blew. The small figures inside scrambled, but there was nowhere to run. "Sir, orders?" Chen's voice was tight. Aaron's hands clenched behind his back. Every instinct screamed at him to stay hidden, to let this play out. This wasn't humanity's fight. These weren't humanity's problems. But he kept seeing those figures, kept seeing the way they moved, not like soldiers, but like people, terrified people trying to survive. "Charge weapons," Aaron said quietly. The bridge went silent. "Sir?" Chen turned, eyes wide. "You heard me, Lieutenant. Charge weapons and bring us about. Full combat speed." "Captain, we don't know who they are. Either of them. We don't know what we're walking into. I know what I see." Aaron's voice cut like steel. "I see someone dying and I see someone trying to kill them. That's enough." He stepped forward, hands gripping the railing at the edge of the command platform. "All hands, this is the captain. Battle stations. We are engaging hostile forces. I know this isn't what you signed up for. I know we're outgunned. But I didn't join the Navy to watch people die when I could have helped." He paused, letting his words settle over the crew. "If you believe in anything, if you believe humanity stands for something, then stand with me now. Engineering. Give me everything you've got. Weapons, find me a weak point. Helm, take us in." For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the Vigilant surged forward, engines flaring white hot, and the crew moved as one. The attacking ships noticed them immediately. One peeled away from the wounded vessel, weapons pivoting to track this new threat. Warning indicators screamed across the tactical display. "Incoming fire," Chen called. "Evasive," Aaron barked. The Vigilant twisted hard to port, and a beam of superheated plasma carved through the space they'd occupied a second before. Aaron felt the ship groan under the strain, heard the hull plating creak. "Return fire," the frigate's railgun spoke. Sharp, violent cracks that sent tungsten slugs screaming across the void. They hammered into the attacker's shields, and for a moment Aaron saw them flicker. Again, another volley. The shields collapsed and the slugs punched through the hull. The attacking ship shuddered, venting gas, but it didn't stop. It kept coming. Brace for impact. The world exploded in light and sound and fire, and through it all, the massive alien warship watched in silence. Desperate alliance, the Vigilant spun like a leaf in a hurricane. Aaron slammed against his command chair, the impact driving the air from his lungs. Alarms shrieked. Sparks erupted from overhead panels, raining down on the bridge crew. The lights flickered, died, then returned as emergency power kicked in, casting everything in blood red. "Damage report," Aaron shouted over the chaos. "Hull breach on deck 3, ceiling bulkheads. Starboard shields at 20%. Chen's hands flew across her console. "Sir, we can't take another hit like that." Aaron pulled himself upright, tasting copper. His vision swam, then cleared. Through the view screen, he could see the attackers circling back for another pass, its weapons already glowing with deadly promise. They were going to die. He'd known it the moment he gave the order to engage. A single frigate against 3 warships. It wasn't heroism, it was suicide. But he'd made his choice, and he wouldn't take it back. "All power to forward shields," he ordered, his voice steady, angle-less between them and the damaged ship. "Sir, do it." The Vigilant lurched into position, placing itself directly in the line of fire. Aaron watched the attacker close the distance. 500 kilometers. 400. 300. He thought of his crew, thought of their families, wondered if command would call them heroes or fools. Then the world turned blue. A column of light, brilliant, impossible, beautiful, erupted from the wounded alien warship. It was wider than the Vigilant was long, a river of crackling energy that carved through space like the finger of God. Aaron had never seen anything like it, had never imagined anything like it. The attacking ship tried to evade. Too slow. The beam caught it dead center, and for an instant Aaron could see straight through the vessel, could see its internal structure outlined in blazing light. Then it simply ceased to exist. No explosion, no debris. Just gone, erased from reality like it had never been there at all. The bridge fell silent except for the wailing alarms. "Holy shit," someone whispered. The remaining 2 attackers broke off immediately, accelerating hard. The wounded warship fired again, not the devastating main weapon, but dozens of smaller turrets that emerged from its hull like thorns. Energy bolts streaked after the fleeing ships, catching one across its engines. It tumbled, crippled, before limping away into the dark. The last attacker didn't look back. And then, just like that, it was over. Aaron stood frozen, trying to process what he just witnessed. That weapon, that power, and it had come from a ship that was barely holding itself together. What could it do at full strength? "Captain." Chen's voice was small. "We're being hailed." "By the warship?" "Yes, sir. They're transmitting on. Human frequencies. Standard Terran protocols." Aaron's blood ran cold. How could they possibly know? "I don't know, sir. But they're saying something. Audio only." "Put it through." Static crackled across the bridge speakers. Then, through the interference, a single word in perfect, unaccented English: "Sanctuary." The word hung in the air like a prayer. Aaron stared at the view screen, at the massive ship drifting there. Up close, he could see more details, the organic curves of its hull, the way the bioluminescent patterns pulsed in rhythm, almost like breathing. Sections that had been dark were lighting up now, as if the ship itself was waking. "Response, sir?" Chen asked quietly. Aaron took a breath. "Released it. Tell them sanctuary is granted. We're here to help." He could feel his crew's eyes on him, could feel the weight of what he'd just promised. They had no authority to grant sanctuary to anyone, let alone an alien species. Command would have his rank for this, possibly his freedom. But he'd already crossed that line the moment he opened fire. "Chen, get me a channel to Terran High Command, Priority Alpha. And someone get me a damage assessment. I want to know if we can even make it back to port." As the bridge crew scrambled to obey, Aaron moved closer to the view screen. The alien ship filled his vision, utterly alien and yet somehow desperate, vulnerable. Sir, you should see this. The sensor officer pulled up a tactical overlay. I'm detecting more ships, a lot more, incoming from deeper and uncharted space. Same configuration as the attackers. Ida, 12 hours. Aaron felt his stomach drop. How many? At least 20, possibly more behind them. 12 hours. They had 12 hours before an entire fleet arrived to finish what 3 ships had started. The Vigilant was damaged, low on ammunition, and had maybe one more fight left in it before falling apart. Chen, amend that message to command. Tell them we need reinforcements, everything they can send. And tell them, he paused, choosing his words carefully. Tell them we've made first contact with an alien species. They're under attack and requesting asylum. We're all that stands between them and extinction. Sir, they'll think you've lost your mind. Maybe I have. Aaron managed a tight smile. Send it anyway. A new alert chimed. A proximity warning. Aaron spun back to the view screen just as a section of the alien warship's hull began to open. Not a weapons port. An airlock. They're deploying something, the sensor officer reported. Small craft. Unarmed. I think it's a shuttle. Aaron watched as a vessel emerged from the massive ship, sleek and small, glowing with the same bioluminescent patterns as its parent craft. It drifted toward the Vigilant, moving slowly, deliberately. A gesture of peace. Sir, they're requesting permission to dock. This was it. The moment that would change everything. Aaron could refuse. Could maintain distance, keep the airlock sealed, wait for command to send diplomats and xenobiologists and people trained for this. But those people were days away, and the enemy fleet was coming in 12 hours. Grant them docking clearance, Aaron said. Bay 2. And someone get me a security team. Armed, but non-threatening. We're about to meet our new allies. Chen looked up from her console, eyes searching his face. You really think they're allies, sir? Aaron thought about that devastating weapon. Thought about the small figures desperately trying to save their ship. Thought about the single word that had come through the speakers. Sanctuary. I think they're refugees, he said quietly. And I think we're the only thing between them and annihilation. That makes us allies whether we like it or not. He straightened his uniform, wiped the blood from his split lip, and headed for the lift. Sir, good luck. Sir, good luck. The lift doors closed, and Aaron descended toward the docking bay, toward first contact, toward a choice that would echo across the stars. Behind him, through the view screen, the alien warship pulsed with bioluminescent light, a beacon of hope in the endless dark. Or perhaps a warning of the war to come. The wounded giants, the corridor to docking bay 2 had never felt so long. Aaron moved through the Vigilance-damaged passages, stepping over debris, past crew members wielding plasma torches to seal hull breaches. The air smelled like burned metal and fear. Everyone he passed stopped to stare. They knew where he was going, what he was about to do. Their captain was about to meet aliens. Real, actual aliens. Corporal Davis waited outside the docking bay, along with 5 Marines in full combat armor. They snapped to attention as Aaron approached, but he could see the tension in their postures, the way their hands hovered near their weapons. At ease, Aaron said. Remember, we're greeting allies, not prisoners. Keep your weapons lowered unless I give the order. Understood. Sir. Davis nodded, though his jaw remained tight. The shuttle docked 3 minutes ago. No movement since then. There, waiting. Of course they were. They were probably as terrified as his crew. Aaron moved to the observation window and looked into the bay. The alien shuttle sat on the deck like a sculpture of light and darkness. Its hull was midnight blue, almost black, but veins of bioluminescence ran through it in intricate patterns. It was smaller than he'd expected, maybe large enough for a dozen passengers. The design was organic, flowing, with none of the hard angles of human engineering. Beautiful, he thought, and utterly foreign. Open the bay, Aaron ordered. The airlock hissed. The door slid open. Aaron stepped through. The bay was pressurized and warm. The alien shuttle had apparently adapted to human atmospheric requirements without being asked. Another sign of how much they'd been watching. Learning, for a long moment. Nothing happened. The shuttle remained sealed. Then, with a sound like wind through leaves, a door materialized in the hull, not opening, but simply appearing where solid metal had been a second before. The technology was so far beyond human understanding that Aaron felt a chill run down his spine. What had he gotten his ship into? A figure emerged. Aaron had prepared himself for anything: tentacles, exoskeletons, something completely incomprehensible. What he saw instead was almost disappointingly humanoid. Almost. The alien stood perhaps 6 feet tall, with a slender, graceful build. Its skin, if it was skin, was a deep blue-gray that seemed to shift in the light, and those bioluminescent patterns he'd seen on the ship traced across its body in delicate lines. It wore something that might have been armor or might have been its natural covering. Aaron couldn't tell. But it was the face that caught him. 2 large eyes, luminous in gold, set in a narrow face that tapered to a delicate chin. No nose that he could see, just slight ridges where nostrils might be. Desperation. Hope. The alien raised both hands slowly, palms forward, a gesture so human it made Aaron's chest ache. Then it spoke, and the words came out in clear, slightly accented English. "Captain Holt, thank you for your mercy. I am Envoy Shales of the Calthar Remnant Fleet. We are refugees, and we are dying." Behind Shales, 3 more figures emerged from the shuttle, each bearing the marks of combat, scorched armor, visible wounds that leaked something luminescent instead of blood. One was supporting another who could barely stand. Aaron stepped forward, keeping his movements slow and deliberate. "How do you know our language? How do you know my name?" "We have been watching your species for 7 of your years." Shalas's voice was melodic, almost musical, but threaded with profound weariness. "Learning, hoping, coup. When the Dominion found us, when our worlds burned, we fled toward the only other intelligent life we had discovered. You. We had hoped for allies. We found saviors instead. 7 years. They'd been watching humanity for 7 years, and humanity had never known. The Dominion, that's who attacked you? Yes. They are an empire that spans 1,000 worlds. They do not believe in coexistence, only dominion." Shali swayed slightly, and one of the other aliens moved to steady them. "They found our homeworld 3 months ago. By your time, we evacuated what we could, 40 ships, 2 million souls. Now," their voice cracked, "now we are 6 ships, 300,000, and they are still hunting us." Aaron felt the weight of those numbers settle over him, an entire civilization reduced to a handful of survivors, running for their lives across the galaxy with nowhere left to go. The ship we detected, the Dawnbreaker, our flagship, our last warship, it has protected the civilian vessels through 17 battles. Shawley's looked up at him, those golden eyes pleading. "But it is dying, Captain Holt, as are we. Your sensors detected the fleet approaching, yes? 20 ships? Yes, 12 hours out. Then we have less time than that. The Dominion does not negotiate, does not show mercy. They will destroy the Dawnbreaker and then hunt down every last Calthar refugee. We have nowhere left to run." Rishales took a step forward, and Aaron saw their legs tremble. "But if we had sanctuary in your space, if we had time to repair, to rest, we might survive. We might have a chance." Aaron was acutely aware of his Marines watching, of his crew listening through the comm system, of High Command hours away, who would have to deal with the consequences of whatever he said next. "I've already requested reinforcements from our government. They're sending ships. They will not arrive in time." Shelley's interrupted, not rudely, just stating a fact. "And even if they do, Captain, 20 Dominion warships are more than enough to destroy your reinforcements and finish us." "Unless what?" Shelley's looked back at the other, Calthar, then back to Aaron. "The Dawnbreaker is damaged, yes, but it is not dead, not yet. With repairs, even temporary ones, it could fight. With your ship beside it with your reinforcements when they arrive, we might have a chance. The Dominion expects to find a dying ship and helpless refugees. Instead, they will find an alliance." Aaron almost laughed. An alliance. Between a battered frigate, a handful of human reinforcements that might not arrive in time, and an alien warship held together by desperation and hope. It was insane. It was also their only chance. "What do you need?" Aaron asked. Relief flooded Shalas's face, their bioluminescent patterns brightening. "Engineers, welders, hull plates, medical assistance for our wounded, and time, Captain. Just a few hours of time. Davis," Aaron turned to the corporal, "get engineering teams down here. Tell Commander Chen, I want every spare plate of hull armor stripped from non-essential sections. Medical teams to Bay 3. Prepare for alien wounded. And someone find me Dr. Keiko. Tell her she's about to make history. Sir, Davis hesitated. High Command hasn't authorized. I know what High Command is authorized, Corporal. And I know that in 12 hours an alien fleet is going to arrive at the edge of Terran space with hostile intent. I'd rather be court-martialed for acting than remembered for standing by while an entire species was exterminated. Davis straightened. Yes, sir. As the Marines moved to carry out his orders, Aaron turned back to Sholes. I need to see the Dawnbreaker. I need to know what we're working with. Of course, our shuttle can transport you. Sholes gestured toward their vessel. But Captain, you should know. The Dawnbreaker is more than a ship to us. It is alive, partially. Our technology bonds with organic matter. The ship feels, it thinks in its way. When you board it, you will be entering something sacred to my people, a living ship. Aaron tried to process that and failed. I'll treat it with respect, he promised. That is all we ask. Sholes bowed their heads slightly. Come, let me show you what you were fighting for. As Aaron followed the Calthar envoy toward the shuttle, he caught sight of his reflection in a polished bulkhead. He looked older than he had this morning. Changed. Good, he thought. The universe had just gotten bigger and infinitely more dangerous. Time to rise to meet it. The shuttle door materialized open again, and Aaron stepped through, leaving humanity behind, and stepping into a wider galaxy, one at war.